Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jamie G back here again. First of all, I want to say a massive thanks for joining me in today's video. What we're covering today is a couple of very simple techniques you can use to improve the targeting on your Facebook ads. Stick around. I'll see you guys on the inside. Hey, welcome back, guys. It's Jamie G here again. Thank you very much for joining me. And if you are new to my channel, I cover internet marketing, affiliate marketing, how to get started online, Facebook ads, and pretty much all things digital. So if any of that's of interest to yourself, feel free to stick around, hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with everything I'm going to be putting out. Like I say, what I'm covering today is just a couple of really simple tweaks you can make to, first of all, discover more about your target market. If you don't already know that information, if you've just been running ads and you're just trying to get a bit of data, and basically you can, I'm going to take you through how you can actually use that information to hone in on your targeting and then I guess create better audiences as a result. So I'm just looking at a client's account here, and as you can see, the results have been pretty good. This is for a product related to arthritis and things like that. So I wasn't sure how it was going to go when I first started advertising, but I was pretty surprised to get these types of click-through rates here. As you can see, nearly 13% on the front end, and then the actual link click-through rate's about nearly 4%, which is pretty good, and same with that one there. Now this one, much to my surprise, the retargeting ad set did pretty poorly by comparison. I mean, it was only getting, what's that, 0.69% click-through rate on the front. And what I mean by on the front, it could be someone clicks a play button, they click a like, they write a comment. Any of that sort of stuff is considered, I guess, an engagement, which then is a click. So then if they click through to the actual link itself, like click on learn more or whatever your call to action button text is, and they go through to your website, obviously that's what you want. Link clicks are basically more important than the overall clicks, because let's face it, you might have something really engaging on the ad, like a funny cat video or something like that. So you might get a whole bunch of people that are liking it, but if they're actually not bothering to go to the website and have a look, snoop around and purchase stuff, then sort of defeats the purpose. So that's the important part. But obviously both of these stack together. Normally I have them, basically right together. I don't know why I've separated them on this occasion. But anyway, link click-through rate versus click-through rate all. So normally this link click-through rate is going to be a lot lower than that. Like I say, for the reasons I just mentioned, so likes, shares, comments, all that sort of stuff, pressing play on the videos, things like that. So it's all going to come into effect. Now, there's actually a client that decided to pull pin on this particular project, which is why we're not advertising it. Otherwise, realistically, it should still be going, I think, in my mind. But anyway, that's a story for another time. Yeah, basically, anyway, I'm digressing. What you can do is just come down here. If you are in the Facebook Ads Manager, you've got the ads set up and the groups of ad sets within your campaign. All you need to do is just click on Breakdown over here. And basically, if you go down to Delivery, and you can start snooping into some of this data here. And I absolutely love doing this because you might have an idea about an audience. So, I mean, like I say, the product in question was for arthritis, but who knows, it might be getting engagement from a younger demographic that are more sports oriented. So if you can kind of get those little nuggets, it means that you're going to be able to hone in your targeting a lot better. So if we just have a look at, say, age and gender for argument's sake. Now, high probability is that it is going to be the older demographic that are more interested in this. But that's not to say that other people aren't. So there we go. Female, 55 to 64. Now, interestingly, look at the frequency. It's really high frequency. So it must be quite a finite audience. Essentially, what that means is that the frequency is the number of times the ad is getting shown to one particular person. And yeah, that's actually, for that, is quite high. I would have thought incredibly high, which is, yeah, I guess it is what it is, right? But that's interesting. So it means that the actual only purchase from this particular thing came from that age demographic. But that's the retargeting audience. That was the one I said didn't really do that well. And that's why you might see some of these figures getting up pretty high, because a retargeting audience is usually somewhat finite, especially if you're running on limited budgets. So you can imagine that if you've only got, like, I don't know, 20 bucks per day to spend, it's going to take a little while to build up a decent sized audience for you to retarget ads to. So obviously, if you've only got 800 people that you can show that ad to, that's going to fill up pretty quick over the course of a week or two. Anyway, what else we got here? Let's have a look at some of this other stuff. See if we can find some nuggets of gold or anything that kind of sticks out to us. Now, this is the high performing ad set, but as you can see, the older demographic from 45 upwards, and 65, and specifically females only. So there you go, the two kind of gold nuggets that you can take away from this. Now, as you can tell, I mean, I've actually only been targeting people above 45 anyway. I don't know why I put 18 plus because I've copied it. I haven't bothered to change that. That's why. Anyway, what else do we got over here? Yeah, again, I obviously just haven't changed that when I've gone to hit the go button. Interestingly, that's a sizable chunk of that audience, though, about 1,500 people, but again, not really doing much. Although click-through rate, that's not too bad. What do we got there? 45 to 54 range. It's not too bad. Uncategorized, interestingly enough, that seems to be getting a very high click-through rate, which is good. But then again, tiny little sample size, so you kind of take that with a grain of salt. You wouldn't really look too much in that. But here we go. This is the one here. So there's actually been 3 purchases based off that, and cost per purchase, that's terrible. Yeah, that's really high, which is really interesting. Contrast that with the males, as I mentioned in the other one. The males were the smaller segmentation that were actually looking at this stuff, but obviously they are more inclined to make that buying decision for whatever reason. Now, again, this isn't really a big sample size. You can't really read too much into it, but what you can do is start picking, segmentations of the audience and then look to break those out. So if I was to re-engage this particular audience, and like I say, I'm using an old one, so I'm not breaking any contracts with current clients, things like that. What I'd be inclined to do is have a look at, what basically little nuggets are there, and then I'd look to split these off into different ad sets and start testing those individually. And then all I do is look to create a rule with a split test, and whatever the winner is, I'll just go like that and just keep optimizing like that with using the rules. So if you're unfamiliar with the rules, and I'm sort of digressing on what I wanted to accomplish with this video, I must apologize, but rules up here can be absolutely anything. So turning off an ad set, turning budget up, decreasing budget, turning something off or on. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff, and it's not overly complex. So just really quickly, in fact, you know what? I'll do another video on that. It's probably easier before I get sidetracked too far and take you guys well off course. But anyway, what you can see here is a little nugget of gold here, which is the add to carts over here. We've got 7 of those for that demographic, which is females over 65. So like I say, what I'd be inclined to do, and also the click-through rate, look at that, massive, over 13%, brilliant. So what I'd be inclined to do is then break that off into a separate ad set, females only, 65 plus, as part of this targeting. Obviously, I've got the targeting, seems to be okay, but it's not actually that much buyer activity here for whatever reason. So that's fine. I'd also, so now I've established that, females over 65. So that's good to know. Now, what I'd also have a look at is impression device. And in fact, you know what? There's another one here. It's placement and device. And that gives you whether it's on like an iPhone, Android, Instagram, Facebook, Messenger, all that sort of stuff, yeah? Alrighty, so again, I'm going to ignore this top one and get rid of that. Okay, so I'm going to go back down to the one that seemed to have the big data in it, which is what we're after. Okay. And are we noticing any patterns here at all? We've got, okay, desktop, that's I'm a little bit surprised by that. iPad, that to me, that's a surprise. I almost find that is never the case. It's almost always, in fact, iPhone seems to be the big winner in my case, what I've seen historically. So that's really interesting. So now we know that specifically iPad seems to get a little bit more than some of the other ones, also Android smartphones. So what I'd do is then break that off into desktop. I'd probably even go so far as to break that off into smartphone or mobile only, and just combine those two. And then if there's enough audience there, I'd go for Android and another ad set with iPhone. And then another one for iPad as well, just to kind of see how people are interacting with the brand and everything like that. Little thing I would mention as well, interestingly enough, is if it's with iPad or any tablet for that matter, what you can do is there's an option in your targeting that allows you to select if it's on Wi-Fi only. So you're only going to show ads to people when it's Wi-Fi only. Now, if you do run an e-commerce store or something where someone has to think about whether they actually want to move forward with something, I do recommend that you use, or at least test it anyway, as you're meant to with pretty much everything relating to ads. Test out whether it's going to be a goer to use Wi-Fi only, because if you imagine that most people, when they're using Wi-Fi, they're probably at home or they're at least comfortable and they have a bit more time to snoop through their phone and do all that sort of stuff. So it means that the probability of having a conversion is probably a lot higher than if it was just randomly on their own data anyway. So that's it. Now, the other thing is, what else can we look at? Things like time of day. Now, I've mentioned this in a previous video, but one of the great things that happened many moons ago when I was working with a particular client is we discovered that the hours of between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. 9 a.m. were an absolute goldmine for them for some reason. And then again, similar time at night between, I think, 9 p.m. and midnight, if I'm not mistaken. So what we're able to do is split the ad set up so it was only showing the ads during those times, and it meant that the cost per lead came down so significantly. And then, yeah, we're getting some really fantastic results for the client as a result of that. And again, it's not because we really changed anything. All we did was just hone into what was working, and basically honed into what the data was giving us. So we have a look at viewers' time zone, just to give you an idea. Okay, again, I'm going to ignore the retargeting because it really didn't produce much data for us. What else do we got? And again, same deal as before. You're really just looking for patterns. If there's anything that's like glaringly obvious. Okay. Add to cart. What's that? 3 and 4 a.m. What are you guys doing at 3 and 4 a.m.? You want to add stuff to cart. So here we go. Just before lunchtime, 11 to 12. Someone's maybe on their coffee break at work, or maybe the tea break after 4 bowls in the morning, if they've, you know, if we're in that age demographic perhaps. What else you got? Okay, so then 6 to 8 p.m. again seems to be, and like I say, I mean, this is probably not the best example because it's not a huge amount of data there to go off, but it just kind of gives you a bit of an idea of what you should be looking for at least anyway. So that's another thing. So we covered a couple of things there. And again, all you need to do is just look at breaking these out into a separate ad set and see how that goes for them. And other than that, I mean, you already know or should know what country you're targeting. You can look at things like regions and states, all that sort of stuff. And then obviously gender as well, but I always go for age and gender so I can kind of see the two together. Then you've also got action as well. So there is no action in this one, but by time as well. And that, like I say, I mean, that can be over, you know, I guess the last couple of weeks, or whether you're looking at a longer time frame or anything. So yeah. Anyway, that's it. Hopefully you got something out of this today. My name is Jamie G, and thank you very much for watching. Smash that like button. Feel free to subscribe if you got any value out of this, and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Bye for now.